Right, okay, thank you very much. I'm going to talk to you about option 6. I'm going to be quite serious, but first I'm just going to not be serious, because this is where my children went to school. So I'm feeling a bit nostalgic, so I'm actually going to read to you just for about a minute from a book which I'm sure you all recognise. I'm sure you all read this to your children, Thomas the City 4 Bus. It's quite short, but I'm just going to read an extract. Thomas was a cheeky little bus who worked, I can't do it in the Ringo Starr voice, I'm afraid, if you know it. Thomas was a cheeky little bus who worked hard all day long carrying people back and forth between Camborne and Cambridge. One day he was summoned to see the Fat Controller. Uh-oh, thought Thomas, that usually means trouble. Hello, Thomas, said the Fat Controller. We've decided to melt you down and make you into desk paperweights. Oh dear, said Thomas, that was rather worse than I was expecting. What did I do wrong? Well, said the Fat Controller, you are not fast, frequent and reliable enough. Oh, said Thomas, wiping away a tear, so what are you going to do instead? We're replacing you with Donald, the guided bus. Oh, Thomas, said Donald, I have my own special track. Scottish in the book, it's not my fault. All the way from Camborne to a few miles outside of Cambridge. So I never get stuck in traffic, except for the last few miles when I have to slum it on ordinary roads. Yes, said the Fat Controller, beaming. Donald is completely reliable. Nothing can go wrong with a guided busway. Not only that, Donald is resilient and future-proof. That means he will be the ideal solution for hundreds, if not thousands, of years to come. Whereas, even if we improved your route, you might still get stuck in traffic in 20 or 30 years' time. Hang on a minute, said Thomas cheerfully. Who knows what the world will be like in 20 or 30 years' time? Maybe the Girton interchange will be fixed by then. Wouldn't it make more sense just to improve my route and my service at a modest cost and give people a decent service now? Have a look at my VIX data for the month of November 2016. I'm going to have to help Thomas out here right now. Okay, so these are VIX data. Let's get serious now. These are VIX data. So this is real data for the City 4 service from Camborne to Queen's Road in the whole month of November 2016. A very good month because there's no school holidays. It's just a busy working month. And these are the weekday averages. And what you can see is that even with 15 stops, Thomas's journey is about 20 minutes from Camborne all the way to, from basically the Camborne Business Park all the way to the Northampton Street bus stop. And these are the different services from 6 o'clock in the morning until the evening. And what you can see is, as we all know, that the issue is here. So the average in the morning peak goes up to about 35 minutes, and it can be very long. It can be over an hour. In fact, that's one day. That was November 21st, I don't know. Must have been a car crash or something. But on average, it's about 20 minutes. And we can see that it's made up as follows. The first bit, Camborne to Madingley Malt, is very, very consistent. All day long, it's about 10, 12 minutes. Hardly ever changes. Madingley Malt to the West Cambridge site, that's where you get the problem. It can be half an hour on there, not usually. To be honest, the average is 12 minutes. It's not that bad, but it certainly is worse, and it's absolutely stable the rest of the day. And then from West Cambridge site to Northampton Street, again, very little variation. There is not much congestion. It's about a 5-minute journey, and the worst it ever gets is maybe 10 minutes. And then back home, again, very, very little variation. Here, this is lunchtime on the 1st of November. I don't know what they were doing. Somebody keeping up the road. Now you listen to me, said the Fat Controller, getting angry. Actually, he gets a bit abusive after that, so I'm going to stop with the Fat Controller. So let's have a bit of a think about what Thomas is saying. So here's the current situation, and this is the evidence-based current situation. There is no significant congestion or delay from Camborne to Madingley Mulch on either the St Neots Road, which is what the City Board currently uses, or on the A428, which is the dual carriageway. Inbound congestion on Madingley Hill during the morning peak is about 10 minutes. It is desirable to have a service to the West Cambridge site. I think everybody agrees to that. There are minimal inbound delays from the West Cambridge site to Northampton Street, and from Bridge Street to the city centre, as we know, is mostly car-free roads with restrictions on it. And the City 4 journey currently takes 20 minutes off-peak, even with 15 stops, and the VIX data tell us that the average dwell time at a stop is 25 seconds. So you can do the maths on that easily enough. 4 or 5 minutes spent stopping at stops, and it still only takes 20 minutes off-peak. The future situation, we know that there is going to be significant population growth. The local plan requires transport improvements. Actually, what it says in the latest modifications, which haven't been accepted, but have been proposed for the local plan, is this: provision of high-quality bus priority measures or a busway on or parallel to the A1303 between its junction with the A428, that's Madingley March, and Queen's Road, Cambridge. So it doesn't require an off-road busway, it just requires improvements. We also know that there is plenty of capacity on the A428. There is no predicted congestion up to 2031, according to Atkins, who have studied it. And we also know that 25% of traffic on Madingley Hill will turn right onto the M11 and could therefore be eliminated by upgrading the Girton interchange. So that's the current situation and what we expect over the next 15-20 years. The City Deal preferred solution is this, option 3, a segregated off-way busway through the countryside from Camborne as far as the West Cambridge site, then onto Grange Road by means unknown, then onto the city centre on ordinary roads, and we don't know the route. A parking ride at Cromley after the build-up of congestion, therefore a significant disincentive to people who actually would like to use it because they are going to get stuck in congestion. And it turns the current 20-minute stopping service that Thomas provides into a 14-minute non-stopping service. Yeah. So what's wrong with option 3? Well, it's segregated. Well, it's segregated as far as the West Cambridge site, whether it's needed or not. It is not segregated between Grange Road and the city centre, which is probably where a significant risk of congestion actually exists. It is absurdly expensive. It has a present value cost of £207 million, 140 to construct, and then 67 to maintain, subsidise, and other expenses, and a benefit cost ratio, as we know, of 0.2. It's environmentally damaging. It has overwhelming opposition: MPs, councillors, residents, conservation groups, everybody. It will be long and difficult to implement. There will be a public inquiry, there will be land to take, there will be construction risks, and we know from the other guided busway that it can overrun, and the costs, even with risk allowance, can be enormous. And it won't actually work, because we know this because in Atkins' report they say this: only a modest impact on demand for public transport along the A428 corridor, and despite the journey time improvement that they predict, they still think that the journeys will be quicker by car, and therefore there is minimal modelled mode shift to public transport. In fact, if you look in the detailed numbers in the tables, you'll see that the mode shift for option 3 is 25%, the mode shift for a do minimum option is 21%. There's really no benefit, and that's one of the reasons why the benefit cost ratio is so poor. So why is it preferred? If I can quote from Genesis chapter 3 verse 5, I have no idea. But I do have a pet theory, and that is that it was not fairly appraised. This is a horse I bet on at Newbury last week, called option 1. And unfortunately it didn't win, the same way that option 1 did not win the race to be the preferred option. So what was wrong with option 1, the on-road comparator? Well, it did not have an express service to Cambridge. It was still the same stopping service, 15 stops or however many stops that would be required. There was no service to the West Cambridge site. That made it unpopular with the university, for example. There was no bus segregation on the M11 bridge. It still has this inconvenient and environmentally damaging park and ride at Cromley, has no enhanced cycling or pedestrian provision. It had an extremely high journey time. In fact, the journey time was 32 minutes to Queen's Road and 46 minutes to Drummer Street, which is worse than what the City Hall can do at the moment without any kind of intervention. So this kind of brings new meaning to the term do minimum. This is do kind of whatever less than minimum is. And it actually had an inflated cost. Effectively, if you strip out the cost of the park and ride, as far as you can see from the reports, there's £16 million of construction costs, which would get you 3 miles of inbound bus lane, because I couldn't see anything else that was going to be constructed. So even the cost was rather high, which has an impact on the benefit-cost ratio. So, what is option 6? Option 6 is not a panacea for Cambridge's transport problems. What option 6 is a specific response by the community to the selection of option 3 by the City Deal Board as their preferred option. And it is driven by the fact that option 1 was not a fair and adequate on-road comparator. And had we had a fair and adequate on-road comparator, the decision may very well have been different, and we now have even more confidence in thinking that, because what we've seen with the A1307 report, which came out just a few weeks ago, where in fact the on-road option is still in there as a preferred and recommended option by the consultants who produced that report. And I think it's important that we understand what we mean here about option 6. Because option 6 does not have to be perfect, the perfect solution. Heidi already said that. It doesn't actually even have to be better than option 3 in the sense of faster or more reliable, given that it's a tenth of the cost. It doesn't have to be worked out in every single detail, because option 3 is not worked out in every single detail. It would be quite unfair that we have to, as a community, come up and do things that well-paid consultants have not yet had to do. It does not exclude consideration of other options, like the Girton interchange upgrade, or indeed any other kind of routes. It does not have to cure all known ills. It just has to be a fair and adequate on-road comparator to the preferred option 338. And what does option 6 offer us? Well, it does offer us fast, frequent, reliable bus journeys. The route that we are proposing can get express services in 16 minutes all day long, including in the peak, to Queen's Road, and 22 minutes all the way to the city centre, which is absolutely the same, in fact, as you would get with the off-road option 3. It gives us 12 buses an hour serving the city, the villages, the science park, the biomedical campus. It gives us a reliability of 90% plus, where reliability is meeting its timetable plus or minus a reasonable, say a 5-minute plus or minus, and it will give us journey time variability of plus or minus 5 minutes, and we know that from the VIX data, where most of the journey already does have a variability within plus or minus 5 minutes. And in fact, it's not materially different from option 3 in terms of its ability to get people to where they need to get. It is fit for purpose. It's an appropriate intervention for what is a relatively small population along the corridor. And it is sufficiently future-proof over the next 20 years, because the honest truth is we have no idea what's going to be happening 25, 30, 40, 50 years from now, whether buses and buses will be in any way an appropriate intervention. Why is option 6 better than option 3? It's cost-effective. It's probably between 5 and 10 times better value for money. It is environmentally friendly. It uses existing infrastructure, does not carve up the countryside. It has a lot of public support. It actually probably has better connectivity. A Madingley Road routing, as you come in towards the city, is better than a Grange Road approach for access to the city centre, and also gives you access to the Northwest Cambridge site and an online Western Orbital much more easily than if you come in south of the West Cambridge campus. And it has greater flexibility. It serves communities, not fields. So just a quick reminder of where we've got to with the consensus process of building a community option. And this is where it's got to so far. I'm not saying this is necessarily cast in stone, so I think there's going to be debate afterwards to see whether it can be refined or improved any further. But essentially we're looking at a high-speed on-road service from Camberton to Madingley Mulch using either the A428 for express services or the St Neots Road for stopping services. A park and ride proposed in the vicinity of the Scotland Farm junction of the A428. There will be appropriate online segregation or bus priority measures where they're needed. I suspect they may not actually be needed at all, given the fixed data we now have access to between Camberton and Madingley Mulch. And that's essentially the route as far as Madingley Mulch. From Madingley Mulch to the N11, there is a suggestion that the Madingley Mulch roundabout itself is remodelled to allow the buses to go directly through or round and not get caught in any traffic. It doesn't seem from the VIX data that there is much congestion at that roundabout, but I think that is also something that just needs further review and assessment. Then down the Madingley Hill, or Madingley Rise, some kind of on-road segregation. It could probably be as simple as a single inbound bus lane. It could be a double bus lane if that's considered to be worthwhile. Again, the VIX data suggests there isn't really any outbound delay or congestion, probably isn't worth it. And in particular, a central bus lane has two big advantages. Firstly, it doesn't get blocked by people parking or stopping at the sides. And secondly, if it were necessary, it could be converted to tidal use in the future should the congestion pattern dramatically change beyond what people are currently predicting. There's a segregated off-road cycleway built into the proposal all the way from Camborne into Cambridge, and that passes via the village of Coton over the existing cycle bridge over the N11, footbridge. The Coton turn, which is approximately here, I think, should be remodelled and signalised so that the buses can get down the road without having to wait, without have bus sensing signals. And then there would be a single, possibly bi-directional, but it probably only needs to be a single inbound bus lane over the existing M11 bridge again, so there'll be no delay for the bus. And then last bit of the route from West Cambridge side to the city centre, some of the buses may stay on Madingley Road all the way into the city centre as an express service, and others will serve the West Cambridge side, where not only do they serve that, there's easy connectivity to the north-west Cambridge site, there's easy access to the Western Orbital, particularly if it's an online Western Orbital, which will then easily be able to take people to Addenbrooke's and to the Cambridge Science Park. And then there is a proposal for a transport hub on the West Cambridge site itself. And then last point is that there is no evidence, and we can see that loud and clear now from these VIX data, that a bus lane is needed beyond the West Cambridge site. The times are such that the amount you could possibly save with a bus lane is just not worth the construction and the disruption and the antagonism that would be caused by bus lanes down there. That's the general view. So my suggestion would be that there are three motions to debate here. That the first bit, and then obviously I will pass this back for wordsmithing if need be. But firstly, that the LLF agrees that the route of option 6 from Camborne to the West Cambridge site is more suitable than the off-road option 3 or 3A, and therefore urges the city deal to implement it immediately. Secondly, that the LLF agrees that a park and ride at Scotland Farm is superior to a park and ride at Crone Lee. And then thirdly, that the LLF agrees that the route of option 6 from the West Cambridge site to the city centre, the route that's proposed in option 6 using Madingley Road is more suitable than the routes which are suggested in the catchment area of option 3 and 3A, and therefore urges the city deal to implement it immediately. And then my last slide is just a request to the city deal board. Let's have a fair and transparent appraisal. Let's have clear and agreed metrics up front so that we know how this is going to be judged. What is acceptable in terms of journey time and reliability, so that we don't feel like, as we did in the previous appraisal, that we have a stacked deck. Let's have a fair weighting of key considerations and criteria. So strategic fit, that might be a consideration. It is not 99% of the consideration, as it was in the Atkins reports that we saw a few months ago. There is also cost and value for money. That is extremely important. There is also the environment. That is extremely important. And of course, public support does not warrant a measly 4% of weighting. And that's it for me. Thank you.